Evelyn.
Madam President, why don't you be silent for like 2 or 3 seconds and then officially start the meeting? Then I know where to cut.
Good morning. Welcome everyone to the DOVIA meeting on March 21st, 2024. It is 8:32 and I feel like we need to go ahead and start because we want to respect the time of others. So I guess I'll ask Fran to give a report. Do you have a treasurer's report?
I do. We have $3,504.37, which is the most we've had ever.
No,
really?
we had $4,000 at one point.
Oh, she said we had $4,000. I don't remember.
But we spent some of it to do our archiving project.
Yes, that's right.
Yay for that, because that is very important. Okay, so any announcements, or do we want to go ahead and wait a minute, is Tamika still on?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't. Okay, I can see you on my phone, but not the computer.
Okay.
And thank you so much for agreeing to do this presentation.
Well, thank you for having me once again. I appreciate it.
Well, so, Michelle, do you want to?
Tamika, do you want me to share my screen now, or do you have some introductory comments first?
I mean, you can go ahead and share, but I'll go ahead and start. Just for those who maybe don't know, I'm the assistant program director with AmeriCorps NCCC out of the southern region, out of Vicksburg, and we have 4 campuses. And I'm always excited because I'm from Mississippi and we have one of the campuses located in Mississippi, and we only have 4 within the United States. It's always exciting to say, yay, we have an NCCC campus here in our state, and we serve 20 states and territories. So we are a program, federal service program that a dual mission to strengthen community, but also to develop leaders. And so the individuals that we send out into various communities are between the ages of 18 and actually go all the way up to 26. So our teams are around 8 to 10 people per team. And what we do is we send them from one community. They serve maybe 4 to 6 or 8 to 12 weeks, and then they move on to another community within our region that covers, of course, Mississippi, but then goes over to Florida. We include Puerto Rico, DC, and also all the way up to Massachusetts and Rhode Island. So, we're kind of an expansive region that we cover. I develop projects for 4 of those states in Mississippi, and is, of course, included in those. But I want to first highlight this unique opportunity. I don't know if everyone realizes that we have, some of you may be familiar with the traditional kind of NCCC program that I just described, where they go into communities and they serve like building homes or building trails or, helping to coordinate volunteers. But we actually have kind of a division of 4 different programs, and one of them kind of being a new program that people can apply for. So I kind of wanted to just initially highlight those just for your awareness, but then also if you have maybe young people that between that age, 18 and 26, of course, our team leaders can be any age. And we encourage anyone that's interested in serving. It's a great opportunity to kind of travel, but then also build your leadership skills and network while you're in the program. But so to divide out, we have these 4 different programs. And that includes our traditional program that I was just talking about, and they all have a deadline. If you know anyone that's interested, or you maybe work with young volunteers and trying to look for different things to do, in the next 10 months, one is our traditional program. The deadline is March 31st for all of these. If they are interested in a traditional program, they actually would be, if they apply by March 31st, would be signed up to come to our campus. So they will be serving out of the Vicksburg campus. Of course, it could go to any of those locations across the United States. And then also we have our FEMA Corps program, which some of you may be familiar with. Our FEMA Corps program is now going on 12 years. AmeriCorps, of course, is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, so that's exciting. And out of that 12 years, we've had FEMA Corps. And with FEMA Corps, that also will be out of our campus. So if someone is interested, they serve directly with FEMA. And they go, you know, sometimes in disasters, but also they do preparedness work. FEMA is their main sponsor, but sometimes FEMA works with agencies like American Red Cross. And so sometimes some of their projects are, you know, they're serving with an American Red Cross through FEMA. And so it's more, I would say, kind of more internship-like, where a lot of times it offers the opportunity for them to work for FEMA after they finish the program, maybe either as reservists or other full-time positions. So it's a really great opportunity for those who are interested in disaster service and work. But once again, March 31st at our campus. Then we have a summer of service. And for the last, I guess, about 3 years, we've had our summer of service program, which is for, once again, that deadline's March 31st. But they're out of the, they would be out of serving out of the Denver campus, Aurora, Colorado, and then out of our Benton, Iowa campus. But our region is served within that. So our Benton, Iowa campus covers our region. So I don't know if you all were aware, but there was an opportunity to apply. So next year, if you're interested in having a team in the summer, because those teams will serve basically, I believe, June 10th, and then like the very beginning of August. So throughout the summer, it's great for someone that's in the middle of college or, you know, that just wants to serve throughout their summer, but really can't commit to 10 months. But they will also, like I said, serving within. And if you all are interested in the summer of service, I encourage you to let me know. The concept form for those were due back in February, and then the application was due in March. So that's what that time frame for the summer of service. And then we have a new program, our Forest Corps program, which will be out of our California campus. And so similar to kind of FEMA Corps, the Forest Service is their main sponsor. And so it really makes sense for that program to be there, just because with the, you know, wildfires and things of that nature and the need for teams to respond to that. And so we're really looking for that to become professional development, and also for those who have a really interest in maybe working for a federal agency, have an interest in kind of that environmental conservation, and working with the Forest Service. So we have kind of also we have forest teams on our campus, about 3 of those where they served. This is kind of a new partnership that we have with the Forest Service out of that campus. And so anyone that applies at this point by the end of this month could be serving in any of those 4 programs. I thought it'd be nice to kind of share, just so that you know the breadth of the program, like how expansive NCCC covers. But now kind of talk about what it looks like to apply. And so we're just going to look at our request for proposals and talk about who can receive, you know, just looking through that. So, you know, if you look over to your left, who can receive a team, you'll notice that it says nonprofits, tribal communities, state, local, federal government can receive teams. I just say, you know, like no one with for-profits, use it generally. And if you have a question about it, then, you know, we can just kind of talk through that, if you're eligible or not to receive a team. And of course, our teams serve in 5 different focus areas. As you know, if you look down, what can teams do? So they go from urban and rural development, and that really is a very kind of large bucket in terms of usually our programs that impact children, our programs that impact different communities, small communities, if you're working on housing, fall within that. And then, of course, a lot of times people think of us as a disaster response because our teams can swiftly move from one location to another. They travel in 15 passenger vans. And so a lot of times, and then for Mississippi, because we're all, generally impacted by sometimes by hurricanes in our neighboring states, we really are kind of impactful in disaster, infrastructure improvement. When you think about different cities, work that maybe need to be done within that, or just different buildings, things that need infrastructure improvement. And an area we would love to see more applications. I haven't seen an application in a very long time. And the energy conservation, of course, we want to do work that is around climate control and energy work. So would love to see more projects coming out of that. So there's a two-step process to submitting a team. And you'll notice that within that, you'll see that for our teams that will be coming starting in July, they'll come to campus, go through training, and then their first project will begin in August. So for a team to start beginning August the 7th through October 30th, now is the time to kind of start thinking about that because the concept form is due April 17th. And so that concept form is due then. And then from that, I would say that that's kind of an easy, with that, you just need to know what is the need and kind of what your thoughts on what would the team do. And then the full application, from there, we invite you to submit the full application, which would be due at the end of May. You'll notice that we've kind of cut down on some of our rounds this year. And so instead of 4 rounds, there's actually 3 times that you can apply, but still kind of the same time frame as always. We are asking that every time that you submit that you would like to apply for a team this year, that you submit a concept form. And with that, we'll invite you to apply for the full application. So that's kind of new. In the past, if you had submitted a concept, you didn't necessarily have to continue to submit the concept form each time you've submitted a full application. But this year, we are asking that for you to do that. And then in addition, I just want to point out round 2 is kind of an interesting round, and that, teams would serve from November the 7th through December the 19th. Then they would go on a winter break, and then they would be back available again for January 8th through March 9th. So, you could officially apply for a team from November 7th through March 9th, but that's a really, that is a long period of time. So if if you're looking at that time frame, I would say, oh, the first half is best for me, or the second half is best for me, because there's only one application submission for that period for that round. And so just looking at that. And so yes. And then if you go kind of looking over to our next page, as I mentioned, we send each team with a team leader, but then also 15 passenger vans. So you don't have to worry about their transportation. They get a small stipend for food. They get a stipend, and then they get a small budget for food. It did go up, I guess, a year or so ago to $6.10 a day for each individual, but they pull their money together. As an organization sponsoring a team, of course, you provide the tools and the leadership and the training. Once again, they're 18 to 26 because they don't necessarily come in with the skills. They're looking for that. And, that's kind of one of the things that if you're interested in hosting a team, you're interested in also working with a group of young adults and helping to develop them. But then also you're bringing in a team that with a lot of energy and that can get things done very quickly, probably at a different pace than what you're used to. And also obligating to have them serve for 40 hours a week. Our members have to earn 1,700 hours before they graduate. And with that, once they earn that 1,700 hours within the 10 months that they're serving, they have an opportunity to, they then receive their education award, which is over $7,000 that they can use towards either different trade schools or other colleges, or for pay back student loans and things of that nature. So it is important that they get those 40 hours a week, because that's working towards their 1,700 hours to graduate. One other thing that I think is a great benefit for our local, for local agencies and folks that are interested in applying that are close to the Vicksburg campus in the Jackson metro area. Generally, if you're within 1 hour distance from Vicksburg, you do not have to provide housing for our teams. So they stay on our campus. And that's a big one for a lot of our other sponsors. That's something they have to think about. There is no cost to provide a team. And then in addition, for our local sponsors, there's no need to even provide housing for them. Other things that you want to think out to make highlight, we are, we're excited this year. We're thinking our numbers are going to improve, but we really do need the support of our sponsors and people to help promote the program. And so with me starting off with talking about opportunities for folks to apply, I don't know if you all have experienced a drop in volunteers, but we did see in the last couple of years a drop in our membership or our members, joining the program. And so we really need the support of our partners and our sponsors to help promote that. And that's one of the things that you can highlight. Then that's really important. And then also some of our national initiatives, if you can engage them in other volunteer events where they get to coordinate other volunteers. I think that's a really unique opportunity. For one, they're interacting with individuals within the community and also building those skills. So those may be some things where, maybe you have some big things coming up and you're like, okay, we have some opportunities for them to interact with other volunteers. You can highlight that. And that's actually one of the things that we're looking for teams. Now, some of you are also familiar with the opportunity for our teams to, while they're serving locally, they have to earn additional hours while they're here while they're serving. That is not with their sponsoring agency, which we call independent service projects. And those you don't necessarily commit to, submitting an application. You just let me know sometimes, so if they're serving with their agency, we have a team, actually we have a team serving right now in Jackson. They're serving at the Jackson Zoo. And that the zoo is partnering with Keep Jackson Beautiful. So they're spending some time with Keep Jackson Beautiful, going into the schools, talking about their Eco Ambassadors program, and then also doing some service around the city to beautify certain areas. But then also serving within the zoo to assist with that. And so while we have this one team, it's an 8-person team, there's an opportunity maybe after hours when they're not serving to ask for a team. Maybe you have in Thursday evenings or Friday evenings or on the weekend that you could need assistance with. This team will be on our campus until April 18th, I believe. So if you have anything coming up event-wise, let me know and then I can share it with the team. And then perhaps they can help volunteer. Because basically it's just, that opportunity there for them to volunteer in addition to their service hours. Also, another big time when we generally have members, like I mentioned, they come to our campus for about 3 weeks. And we bring team leaders in for about 3 to 4 weeks before that. So we'll have team leaders back on our campus beginning mid-June. And then they'll be around until August with our core members coming in July. So if you have some events around those times, please let us know. And then perhaps we can help send some folks your way, depending on their schedules over the weekends when they're not in training during that time. So that'll be another kind of time where if you have some things going on, let us know and we can see if maybe we can at least share it with them and see if they can sign up to volunteer for some of your events during that time. And so those are some of the more immediate times, like for the first half of this year, where we have teams available or members available on our campus that could help with different events that you're going on. So I think that I've talked a pretty good amount, and I just want to open it up for anything. I know Stacy has hosted teams in the past. If you want to share anything about that, because I always think it's nice when other people that have worked with our teams talk about what it's like. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. And then also you all are familiar. Y'all have been working with NCCC, a lot of you, for a long time. So yeah.
Well, I just want to say that the process to getting the team, it seems like it's much easier now. even though you have to do the concept form, it's much easier. But anybody on this call, I'm going to suggest that you apply for a team. And if you want to apply and really just don't know what to do, call me and I will help you. I'm actually working in a consultant capacity right now. So I am more than willing to help anybody to do the application, but they're easy to work with. And if you don't want the team, like Tamika said, like I know they're like with the Taste of the Blues in Crystal Springs, the month of April, Felicia may reach out, all right, because I'm going to mention to her, because I know she needs volunteers for that day, for them to just be able to come out, because I know that's within the distance. And Sarah, I wrote your name in the chat. You're everything she was saying. I'm just like, the Good Samaritan needs to apply, and not only apply, y'all need help on Saturdays. And that's when I think your biggest volunteer day is. So, I mean, you can speak to that. I'm gonna be quiet.
Yes. Well, coming up, because we have, I formed a relationship with Hines County, and we are getting, we have about 5 folks who are on probation, and trying, that we might have for 2 or 3 years on a regular basis. We have, I've established a relationship with Millsaps Wellspring. And so we're getting those class, folks there. When I came, we had a relationship with UMC, and that has continued. So and then of course, we have people that need, we have a relationship with Holmes, Hines Nursing, Jackson State is a big relationship. I can't tell you the students that they have sent me, on volunteer Saturdays. We had 60 in January. The syllabuses over that program with Jamesia Day at the Alice Harden Center for, I think it's stewardship or community-based learning. And then, of course, and then we have the churches that come. We have Fondren, church, but because we are a staff of 5, and we have our clothing closet, our pantry, our community garden, our vintage resale store, which we did have to close down for about 7 months, but we're opening up under a different model. And then social services, the crisis agency. And, I am specifically over the garden. And one of the things that we have coming up is also our charity races. So we have Pick Up the Dust that I'm actively recruiting for. I've created a sign up genius. But then last year, the annual balloon chase, because there's 2 projects that I'm really thinking about in addition to volunteer Saturdays. The balloon chase is a huge deal. It's like a 17-hour day for us. It's a 30-mile bike ride. It's a kids fun run. It's a 4-mile fun run. We literally recreate a outdoor restaurant and serve the VIP area. But it's also, there's a lot going on, and we need a lot of help to load the van and unload the van. And we really needed an AmeriCorps team last year. And so I do want to put an application in for that specific person. But it's also a huge cultural event. And it's a wonderful thing to see those balloons in the field. When I was out there, it was like waking the sleeping giants. This is $1 million hobby that, you don't see often in the modern world. There's live music, there's food trucks. And so in addition to helping us with this event that helps raise food for our pantry and our programs, you get to be a part of this amazing cultural event that happens in Canton, Mississippi. And so I think it is a wonderful marriage where, the AmeriCorps team would get to participate in something that is not only, in service, but fun, and would help us a lot. I mean, it's a big deal. We had a staff of 15 last year, and we're down to a staff of 5. So we really need an AmeriCorps team for our annual balloon chase. The other thing is, and this is something that I still have to talk with Kathy. I'm working on 2 things that I'm trying to take shape for in the fall. And one of them is, we have had donations build up. And also, I'm very funny about the disposal of, we just dealt with an issue where we had paint cans, and we had Restoration Ministries. I formed a relationship with them. They are a men's ministry that, takes, men from it's a variety of reasons, and they kind of live together. They make bread, and they've been coming, now twice a week. They also do disaster relief. But then they're a ministry where men are in recovery. And so it is a vulnerable, in a sense, they're in a vulnerable state. So, but then, they're helping us as well. But there's the whole back of the warehouse and there's the whole store. And I have to kind of go through that with Kathy. But getting all of that has built up over COVID. I mean, when you think about it, we function not only for donations, but we have people in the Tri-County area that use us as a dump and that also use us as a recycling center. And we are not those things. And things have built up over time. And even in the store in the very back, because I mean, the store when it was open was literally running with 2 staff, and that was everything. I mean, like from processing donations to pricing to running the front to organizing. And so having a team in the fall when it's not, hot, when it's cooler, the weather is nice, having in place, a way, an AmeriCorps team for about a month that would help us, literally like clean out the entire warehouse and the store and having it set up, where all the light bulbs are going to be picked up and disposed of properly, paint cans,
Hey, Sarah,
all
me.
that. But
everything that you're saying needs to go on that application.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm
You're
excited.
I just want you to put that on paper.
Okay, I will.
Because you don't have to have everything on the concept form.
Okay, that's good. The other thing that I'm working on and that I'll hush is, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints came to us. I had, a woman was moved by the Spirit and wanted to give me give us our dream garden. And, they're still involved, but then there's a $25,000 the project has to be $25,000 and we have to be responsible for $5,000 of it. And, it was one of those things where, I really wanted to live a second season of our community garden again, before, big decisions were really made. And there's some things sitting on second base in our garden, like our rainwater cistern, that need to be brought home. And that requires some skill and some thoughtfulness. But this is kind of exciting and I'm hoping it happens, but it's sort of difficult sometimes to do things outside of the Good Samaritan Center during the work week because we are so short-staffed. But I had a very meaningful conversation with the Department of Agriculture and got invited to a garden in Tupelo that is sort of doing what I think in order to increase the capacity of our garden without burdening the organization any more than it already is in a short staffing situation. I have the opportunity to visit on Friday, but, we are short staffed, and I'm often needed to work in the pantry and the closet or at the store. So I'm really hoping that comes through. And if I'm not able to visit during the week, maybe during the weekend, I might be able to get to Tupelo. I don't know. But that is another thing I'm very interested in running a community garden and being able to put more urban organic produce into our pantry and to have those programs on Saturday and for folks in the neighborhood and volunteers and clients to come. And when they're not in a state of crisis, okay, because in a state of crisis, you're not going to start a garden. But, there are also people who come to the Good Samaritan Center who are on a fixed income. It's not a tragedy. They're just low income and they are already in, come from a garden culture and, they could receive items from us that are donated to us that are garden related. Like I'm putting together an event in April. We received $1,500 of seed from the Lakeland Yard and Garden. And I'm also growing tomato and eggplant. It's in the loft to be able to give out seedlings and also seed that's good, to people in the community, help us plant our garden, turn around, take this with you and, strengthen the community as far as it, goes to resilience with the garden. So anyway, but I'm gonna put my applications in for AmeriCorps because we need y'all, Tamika. We need y'all at the Good Samaritan Center.
Awesome. I would be very excited to see an application come my way from you all. And all of that sounds like really good. Just a great kind of combination of things that they could help contribute to and to kind of move you, assist you when your staff is a little bit lower than it's been in years past. But then also just start some new things. So that sounds very exciting. Yeah.
So Sarah Gaden, the only wisdom that I have for you is to put all of that in your application, because whatever you think that the NCCC team can accomplish, you need to double or triple that, because you will be amazed. They
Okay.
come in there and it's like, in a good way, a
Yeah.
herd of locusts, and all of a sudden, whoa, there's all this stuff done, and you think they can do this much, and they end up doing this much. So
Yeah.
dream big.
Okay, I will. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Tamika, are you finished with your presentation?
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, open to anything, questions that you all have for me.
Okay. Madam
So how many
President, are
teams
there
will you
any?
guys-
Uh-huh.
Go ahead. I'm
No, I
sorry.
was just gonna say, Madam President, please.
Okay, I was going to ask Tamika, how many teams do you think you guys will be able to send out this first round?
So I know this past year when I was talking about like where we're at, we have 10 teams presently this year. I think we'll have more than that. I don't know. I haven't received the complete numbers this year, but I do think we'll have more than our 10 teams that we had this, which was, you know, considerably low in the past. At some points we've had as many as 20. I don't know that we'll have as many as that this year, but we are thinking that there's a lot of interest in our Forest Corps program, and they're only taking so many slots for that. And so there is the opportunity for, if they don't get accepted to the program there, that they'll be able to join us Vicksburg. And so we're assuming that some of the folks that don't necessarily are unable to be in that program will be able to join us, and we'll have a little bit higher number than what we've done in the past. So my hope is somewhere between 10 to 20, but I don't know at this point.
Well, I know it's just wonderful to hear about it, and I'm happy that the Jackson Zoo, because I'm wondering, did that go through the city, or because the city has taken them over? So, but I'm glad to know that they're here, because that was going to be a question that I was going to ask you, because the city, it seems like, needs lots of help. I see that they're tearing down houses, and I can see them out there in the gardens and all of that. So, but it's not the teams that I'm seeing, you know, but hopefully I'll see some teams.
Hopefully so. So I think staff from the zoo officially applied, that were that was staff with the zoo, working with Keep Jackson Beautiful. I do know that Keep Jackson Beautiful has a partnership with an individual that works for the city. And so some of the work, I want to say, that's down by like where the bus station maybe is, there'll be some kind of beautification work in that area. And that specifically working with staff that work for the city. So I don't know, the city didn't directly so the zoo staff that works for the city did apply, but it would be great to see just a city application where they target, because the city's got so much going on, and can spread out a team in so many different ways to help support some of the things that they have going on. So that would be an awesome project as well, if they get to that point where they're interested in doing that.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I have a relationship with the communications person, and I really feel that I need to send them an email, with everything that you just showed, those 2 pages.
Yes, please do. And say if you in one at some point for us to meet with your contacts, I'd be happy to do that with you and your contacts. I'd be happy to do that.
I'll definitely make it happen today. Thank you.
Okay.
Is that Miss Bowie on the line? Do you have any questions, or do you want to share any events?
No, I'm just listening. But hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well, thank you for jumping on the call this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
We always love to hear and see people. Well, okay, if no one has any announcements or anything, we're gonna honor everyone's time. Any announcements? All right, well, I'm gonna say, everybody have a great day, and I'll see y'all soon.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Tamika.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.